Hi and welcome to today's Queer Talk. Our guest today, Lisa Donoughe. Today is everything about your life story because your family is special in a way that...
Many ways.
You grew up with two dads in a time where that was not common at all.
I was born in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in 1964. I had a mother too. I had two dads. But it was a time that was, it was essentially verboten, illegal, and not spoken of. So my parents met their first week at college, fell in love, got pregnant, had a baby, got married. Early in their relationship, my dad said, God, I'm not sure I'm 100% on the straight team. I'm thinking I might experiment. She's like, that's fine, experiment. You're straight, And then my parents got divorced when I was 4.
Was it a divorce and even your dad didn't know where his way will go at one point?
Most people just assume it was a man living in the closet with a wife and a child. He was at the time 28. He didn't know what his life would look like. He just knew, or they knew, it wasn't a great marriage. My dad moved to New York City in 1970. And
what?
To be with his partner, his lover, Andrea Veles. And so Andrea was an opera singer at the Metropolitan Opera House. There I am in Andrea's dressing room. First opera, first experience, and my life changed. My worlds became two worlds. So I had my mom and school in Pittsburgh, and then this bohemian arts-filled life with my dad and what I thought at the time, his roommate.
For how many years was he the roommate before you actually knew?
That was from the time I was 6, 7 until 15. And that's when my life went from dignity, happiness, roommate status to shame and curiosity and social acceptance issues, because I had this new idea now in my identity that was about being different and other and a gay family. I think I was horrified. Maybe every child feels that way. You want to be normal, you want to be accepted.
How did it happen that from roommate he went to the partner of your dad?
My dad, I think very intelligently, started asking professionals, how do you introduce a topic like that to a young child? He was told that the only way to guarantee that a child was ready for such information is when the child asks the question. I was 15 in Pittsburgh, and I was at a wedding, and this adult woman walked up and said, I think you guys are so cool. And I was like, thanks. I had no idea what she was talking about. And so then she followed up and said, the gay dad thing and how your mother's so cool with it and you're so progressive. And I was like, okay. I said, hey, this happened to me. Are you gay? And he
just said yes.
Yeah, he said, yeah, I'm so happy that you asked that question because I've been wanting to talk to you about this for many years. And Andrea and I live like any romantic partnership. It is more than a roommate. We love each other dearly, and he is my life partner.
Is there a name for it, a label for it, what Andrea was to you?
Well, this is a problem for me still to this day, because when I say the words stepfather, that doesn't sound right. And I say the words bonus dad, and that doesn't sound right. I loved him. I adored him. There's identity, dignity, and respect in a name and a title. I think label I do reject. I think it's not a contemporary way to look at that, but I do think an important person in your life who is a parent has earned a title. I think language is a defining part of culture, and I don't think the culture has caught up yet to the way we live and the way we were living.
But how did you talk about your family to friends or colleagues?
In 1968, 70, my father would have lost his teaching job in the public school system if anyone knew he was gay. What I did as a young person was compartmentalize. Because for me, all these conversations were these coming out moments, and I wasn't gay. So I thought, well, that's a lot of burden to put on a non-gay person. I was proud of us when I didn't have an understanding that we were different. Then I was weirdly in the closet for maybe 15 years. And then since then, I've been like, holy cow, these are the best people ever. They lived and led with their hearts. That's as good as it gets. By the time I was in early college and in my 20s, I was hanging out, as a fag hag kind of. I was finding my people. They did activism through love and through behavior. So if they were invited to a fundraiser, it would not be typical that two men in the early 80s would go together, but they would. So we never really changed our behavior, but we made a statement with showing up. Oh, there's Andrea as the Duchess of Krakenthorpe. He didn't wear that. Only Thursdays he wore that. No, I'm just kidding.
Back then, in the gay community, there was a big topic, a big thread also, because AIDS was a huge problem, or at least a fear many people had.
It was terrifying. We had dozens and dozens of friends die. I didn't feel hopeless in the sense that I was lucky enough to have friends that were very politically active. There was an institutional interest in not helping. It was a terrifying time until the cocktail showed up.
How did also your mom react to it?
She has never said a negative word, which is amazing. She's one of my superheroes. She's very open-minded, and she gets all the credit in the world for helping us. There are many other parenting aspects beyond sexuality that I think makes for a good or a bad parenting experience.
All of you together had to overcome the loss of your father.
One of the most provocative parts of that experience was what the New York Times said when they called to report the obituary for Andrea. So the phone rang and my dad answered all the questions. And at the end, it's typical if you have an obituary, the reporter says, and who are the survivors? And my dad said, well, me, of course. At the time, the New York Times used the word companion. And so he said, could we please not call me companion? It sounds like I take Andrea shopping for, we do more than shop. And they said, no, that's not, he said, I would like to be called life partner. And they said, no, you will be called companion. That's the word we use. And then my dad said, and of course, there's Lisa, our daughter. And the reporter said, and how is she related to Andrea? And my dad said, she's our daughter. She's my biological daughter, but she's our daughter. And the reporter said, we will not include her. She's not part of the family, according to the New York Times editorial policy. One of the worst days of my life. I mean, how can you be told by an editorial policy that you're not a family? My father decided he was going to write a letter and have a letter writing campaign and try to have the policy changed, which he did. The policy was changed eventually by 2001. What a joy to have the words life partner now in those obits. The message of the book is you have the opportunity to define your life through your action and how you love. And that if you happen to be born in a place and a time where the culture is telling you that you must live in the shadows, you don't have to live in the shadows. I admire their relationship. I admire all three of my parents' choice to always be themselves and have a value of honesty and authenticity at the core. I have the privilege of seeing so much change that I walk around with buckets of gratitude. Politically and socially, we've made so much progress that I think it's a wonderful time to be gay, straight, whatever team, or if you want to change teams every 20 minutes, that's cool too.